Hello YouTubers. Well, in this video I'm continuing on here with this Husqvarna 362 XP Special. I've gone ahead and did a little bit of a little more cleaning and going through this cylinder here for this saw. Like I said in my first video, this is a 47mm top end versus the 48mm top end that you would find on a 365 or 365 Special, I guess. All these, as far as I know, all these 362s came out with a 47mm top end. One little tidbit of trivia for you: you can actually, because these saws were all built on the same crankcase chassis, you can upgrade them to a 365 or even a 372 top end if you want, because the bottom ends are, like I say, the crankcases are all the same. So you could run various top ends on these bottom ends, and they will work without any modifications necessary for the most part, at least that I know of anyways. I went ahead and well, I guess it probably won't show up on camera, it's kind of shaded, and I went ahead and polished out my exhaust port here the best I can anyways. Not a mirror finish, but it's pretty close. Nice and shiny and smooth like glass, and that's what we want. And over here on the intake, I went and did my signature move here by texturing it to try and get some better atomization of the fuel. Sorry, that's my own little trade secret that I won't be sharing with you folks, so haha. Okay, anyways, can't share all the little tidbits. After all, some things have to be kept a secret. So anyways, to do all this work, I went ahead and, of course, removed the carburetor with the intake boot here off of the cylinder, so that I could go ahead, like I say, and texture the intake side and do all the other polishing and stuff without getting a whole bunch of dirt in my carburetor, which is not good. But anyway, so I went ahead and removed this, and we'll continue on. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the carburetor here on the cylinder. Off camera a few moments ago here, just before it turned on here, I went ahead and corrected a mistake here that I believe, and everybody else does that works on saws and knows a thing or two about this, is these little on your adjuster screws here on your jets here, they got those plastic EPA stoppers there, those little quarter turn stop blocks. Well, those the little plastic adjusters are still on the end of the screw, but they no longer have the quarter stop on them, thanks to my little rotary tool here. So anyways, that's been corrected. I went ahead and checked the jets to see what they were set at with the stops on them, and I can tell you there's a reason why this saw is, the bottom end of this saw was bone dry. The bearings are in good shape, they're not rough or anything like that, and both ends of the rod bearings are good, they're nice and smooth, there's no issue there. The lower jet wasn't too bad. It was at one turn out from bottom. I like to run them, well, according to environment and temperature, but starting point is usually, for me, I always set them at 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 turns out. It was at 1 turn, but the high jet, unfortunately, that told the tale right there. This thing must have been lean, screaming to the moon, because it literally had less than 1/4 of a turn out, and that was set by a dealer or factory or whatever at one point in time, and it's ran its whole life that way. Because, like I say, obviously nobody ever messed with these stoppers until now. So this has got the screw clamp instead of the snap clamp like the smaller Husqvarnas had. These are nice. You can actually use these screw clamps on the smaller saws, like the 359s, 357s, 346 XP, 350s, all those saws in that family. The clamps off these 365, 372s, 362 obviously, actually they work the best. The clamp that works the best on these is the ones off the 390 XP. They have just a tiny bit more wiggle room to work, and well, they just work better. So if you're doing an upgrade from those plastic snap clamps or even the metal snap clamp, if you don't want to use those, you can go ahead and use these screw clamps. You can use these here off the 365s and 372s, but they're a little bit tight on those because those have like a plastic partition wall that you have to slip it over. So you can use them if you cut the part of that lip of that partition wall away and clamp the boot directly onto the intake snout, or you can take and just use a 390 XP clamp. They're just, like I say, a little bit bigger, and they fit right over that lip on, or that edge on that partition wall. But like I say, anyways, I'm going to get on with it here. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this. I'm going to try putting these clamps. A lot of times are put facing down. I'm going to try it facing up. I don't know if it'll work or not. I might have to. No, it won't. It's going to hit the cylinder. Yeah, there's a reason why it's upside down. So we'll put it back that way. There we go. Make sure you don't have it twisted up sideways or anything like that. Be sitting nice and even with the cylinder. Now you got to be careful with these with the boot to carburetor mount here at the back of the boot here. They got this white nylon support collar here, and this support collar here supports your also has a little arm on the side of it that holds your throttle cable for your cam on your throttle plate here, or throttle lever. So these are known leak points. If you over tighten your air filter holder carburetor mount, you can crack them or damage them, warp them. If they don't crack, they'll warp if you over tighten them. So you have to be mindful, and you have to be careful with that. So don't overdo it. Somebody could say, well, you could use any one of these screw clamp. Well, no. These have a little spacer bushing in here that sits in the clamp. Only clamps down so far. It's a pre-tension type of thing, so that you only put so much tension, and then that's it. So anyway, like I say, I'm trying to sitting the cylinder flat on the table and just lining up my carburetor here my carburetor and my mount here to make sure that it's sitting sitting correctly. And then I'll go ahead and finish tightening this down. Now I'm getting ready here to do my reassemble. I got my piston ring back on the piston there after cleaning it up, and like I say, I'd like to swap that piston out for a new Meteor piston if I could find one. Unfortunately, it seems that in their catalog and even different online suppliers, I've looked to see what they have for Meteor pistons, and nobody has for these 47mm fit these 362s, or at least I haven't been able to find. Maybe they do make, maybe there is. There might be somebody out there that knows. Let me know. There we go. Okay. So, anyways, we're going to be doing this reassembly without a base gasket. I got the base gasket here, but it's still actually in good shape. There's nothing wrong with it. If I put a little bit of sealer on this gasket, it would still be perfectly usable. It's nice and pliable, and it's not crushed weird or anything like that. But I will not. I will be doing this as a base gasket delete with good old Moto Seal. It's important you use this two-stroke fuel-resistant sealer, and not just any common RTV sealant. That will not work. Anything that curdles with gas does not work for this. So I will not be using that. I'll be using my good old Moto Seal, the industry standard, or any of the other ones like Honda Bond, Yamaha Bond. There's all kinds of companies. No, I shouldn't say all kinds. There's a few companies out there to make this power sport sealer for gas resistant applications, and this is one of them. So, and this is what we'll be using. So anyways, go ahead and seal this up. Almost there. Get this on here, and then get a little bit over on the cylinder base, on the crankcase base there. I already got this is obviously the cylinder base here, but we got this sealed up good here now. Don't get carried away with this stuff. Don't have to. Just a nice thin layer on both surfaces, and make sure you don't have any burrs or weird scuffs or dings when you clean your old gasket off. If it's really stuck, don't. This one came off. I just gently worked at it around it with my fingernail, and it came off nicely. Don't get too carried away and gouge into it, because then you will end up with a leak of some sort. It's always very much a real possibility if you get a little bit too carried away with that. So it also doesn't hurt to put a little bit of extra sealer kind of in these crankcase holes here. I don't know if these go right through or not. I don't think on this one they do. They might, but I know on some of them they definitely do, on some saws. Different brands, different whatever. It doesn't matter if you're running Stihl, Husqvarna, Dolomar, or whatever. They all have their different designs. So, but it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of the sealer in your cylinder base screw holes here, because one, it seals it in case there is a through application, and two, it helps to keep your with this particular stuff like MotoSeal, it's a pretty gooey stuff, so it actually is good to have a little bit in the threads, because kind of helps. It's definitely not a Loctite. You can use Loctite if you choose to do so. Some guys do. I've never done it. Never had a problem with a cylinder coming loose on a saw, and I don't. Most guys that I know that build saws don't use it in that far. It's okay to use Loctite on bucking spikes and stuff like that, where there's issues with fasteners rattling loose. Some saws are worse than others for that particular issue, but for the most part, there we go. Okay, now you have to work fairly quick with this stuff, because it does like to set up whatever. We don't want it skinning over too quick. This MotoSeal is a pretty good stuff. It's I don't just use it on two-stroke applications. I use it also on a lot of other mechanical sealing things where I need a gasket or something. Works very fast. It sets up nicely, and it makes a very good seal. Kind of can be a pain in the arse to get unstuck once you have something sealed up with it. It's not like glue, but it definitely sets up pretty quick. So, and it's got good holding shear strength, or whatever you want to call it. It's a good sealer, definitely a good sealer. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil here in my, little bit of two-stroke oil in my, inside my cylinder here. Make sure that you be careful you don't get it mixed into your sealer. That's definitely a no-no there. You don't want to do that. But it's always good to smear around a little bit on the inside of your cylinder, and on the skirt of your piston, and a little bit around the piston ring and the gland here. Doesn't hurt nothing to do that. Gotta work quick here and try not to mix up your get oil into your sealer and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like to get my sealer down and then smear a little bit of oil around on the piston skirts and around, like I say, the piston ring and stuff. It's always just good to don't assemble them dry. It's never a good idea to do that. So there we go. Now we got a little bit of a oily film on everything on the surface. So, and we didn't get anything too mucked up here. Everything looks good. Now we're going to go ahead and assemble this mess, or at least try to. No, I do not have a ring compressor. This is just doing it with my fingers. Make sure your piston ring is lined up with your little keeper pin there. You don't want it to... I just usually compress it with my fingers. Used rings are usually never as bad as new ones, but there's some can be a bugger. This one is kind of choosing to be that way, and I don't want to get my fingers in my sealer, and like I say, get oil smeared in there. Sorry if my head's in the way, folks, but this kind of requires my... this is being a pain in the ass, like it always is on camera. I can do this 5 times or whatever off camera and slip it right on, but whenever you're doing this stuff on camera is when it's going to give you issue. Sometimes I don't bother doing this on camera, just for time's sake, and people lose interest and tune out, but everybody always sees me, whatchamacallit, saw reassembled. They sometimes maybe wonder if somebody else is doing it for me, or if I'm BSing, but I can assure you I'm the one that does it. There we go, just like that. I just needed to get my finger, being that it's oily, of course, it's hard to get a grip or a bite on it, so to speak, with your fingers and get it in, and there we go. So now it's ready to drop down. Got my cylinder bolts over here ready to go. A couple little things here, just double check, make sure everything is lined up good, and get my little impulse hose through that keeper channel here in the edge of the boot here. Just feed it through as it goes down here. That's about the only thing here you're going to fight with that. You're going to probably kink your impulse hose if you try and put it in after, so it's just a good idea as you're dropping it down, stop part way down and get a few little odds and ends like that ready to go. And like I say, get a couple of cylinder bolts here ready to drop in here right away. Sure everything is whatchamacallit, I had kind of cleaned it up beforehand, so yeah, we're good to go here. Just looking around here, make sure everything is fine. Again, beforehand here, I went ahead and put a little bit of oil down in my bearings in the bottom end, like I said there earlier. So anyways, gonna get a couple of cylinder bolts started here. Oh, come on. There we go. Just making sure that my boot is set in place there, where it in a little slot there where it's supposed to go. I'll worry about hooking up all the fuel lines and everything after. I just want to get my cylinder bolts in and get this tightened down here before we got the one, and then I'll get the other one here, and then I got to get my front ones in here right away. Actually, I got to get before I get too far here, I'm just I haven't tightened anything yet, I'm just running them in. There we go. And then, okay. That one. And we'll get the final one here. There we go. Get that one run all the way down, and then yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. See, just Tiny bit of sealer there, mush out a little bit here, just on the, and I don't mean like mushing out in gobs or whatever, just a tiny little micro bead around the outside, the edge of the cylinder base, which tells me I've got a good even layer all the way around, nothing excessive, just nicely sealed. So there we go. Do a crisscross pattern is what I like to do when tightening anything related to the cylinder heads on whether it be a tractor or chainsaw or whatever. If it's only 4 bolts or 16 bolts or whatever, just use a cross pattern and that's it. There we go. Get this snug down there that way. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Now it's a matter of rehooking my. Make sure your check your impulse line. Make sure it's nothing is kinked or got a funky bend in it anywhere where it's squashed or anything like that, because your saw won't run worth crap. Because you won't make impulse. Same goes for your fuel hose here, but I'm actually going to hook the fuel hose up last because I got other stuff here that I have to get my carburetor base into that little saddle notch there. Not a biggie. Get it in there, boom. Just like that. The other side there. Yep, we're good there. Get our next over here. I think I'm gonna get my my throttle. Need a pair of small needle nose pliers. Get my throttle cable into the keeper here. Like I say, it's got that little funky splice or cutaway there. Just don't get rough with it, but you just kind of get a hold of your needle nose pliers and slip the cable in and around, and then get it up into that keeper, because there is a cutaway or a little saddle notch cut in there, and then they've got a careful there too. You don't kink your don't get rough with when you're putting your throttle cable in, because you can kink that outer casing if you're not careful. And then, like I say, you feed your cable up through that cutaway slot in that little arm, and then they got that actuating cam on your throttle rod, the throttle plate, and then they got that little pressed ferrule end there on the end of your throttle cable. So just with your finger, you can just take and lay it in that. There's a slot or a groove there, and then just take and tip your throttle ahead, and then push it up with your finger into place, and then just let it go, and just like that. There we go. Got one functioning throttle. And that's back together, and then we'll go ahead and put feed our choke rod here in through the little boot here. Now it's important, if you on the back edge of your carb here, they've got that on the back edge of your air filter holder here, they got that little little arm that comes down, and they've got a rubber boot there. And it's important to make sure that you have that that little boot that's in there, as it acts as a support and a guide. And then you just snap your choke rod back into your choke lever. Come on. There we go. It's just got a splayed end that snaps in there. There we go. It's got the auto choke. When you push it in, you got you choke, and then push the choke if you don't want to choke it. And go ahead and auto return, high idle. This NGK plug is in good shape. It's got good fire. I tried it before. So it's of course the old BPM R7A. So we'll go ahead and get that in there. so we don't get any dirt in it after we've gone through the whole process here. Just like that. Now, let's see if we got compression on this tired old piston and cylinder. Well, it would help if I closed the decompression valve. Yeah. Now mind you, I do have oil in the cylinder, so that's going to bring the compression up, but that's actually pretty healthy for a tired, damaged piston. But the piston ring is in good shape, the cylinder is in good shape. How long that piston is going to hold together, I don't know. That's the only question that I have, I don't know. We're going to continue on. I'll put the handlebar back on. Like I say, this saw is dirty, and I've just been cleaning as I go. I would have, or should have, or could have, or would have liked to have pressure washed it, cleaned it up a little better. But before I took it apart, but I just took an hour or so of my time and cleaned it by hand. It is at the time of this recording, I don't know when this will be edited or make it online. Maybe it'll only be a few days or a week, 2 weeks, a month. It could be several months. It might be middle of winter by the time you folks see this. I don't know. I would like to get this video up sooner rather than later, but sometimes with editing and life, I'm busy. I don't always get to doing posting videos like I would like to, but so I'm just going to go ahead and assemble this, put this back together. Go ahead and get my, actually just going to go ahead and get the upper buffer in first before anything else, just not tightened down yet, but just 3/4 or 90% of the way in. And then we're going to start the final assembly here. So just checking to make sure we don't get screws mixed up here where they're not supposed to be. Oh, come on. Give me the fits now. Well, okay. Then we'll put the other ones in the bottom then. I don't know why this is being difficult, but it is what it is, as they say. You don't overdo it in those plastics, you can strip them. It was, like I mentioned in my previous video, I've been looking at the muffler, and there's a whole lot of rust inside that muffler. So unfortunately it sucked some of that crap from that muffler back into the, that's what two-strokes do, they are a push and pull pulsing motor basically, your engine, and that's what it did. It sucked some crap from that muffler back into the exhaust port there, and well, did in that, there we go, one almost assembled saw. Now I will say, when they saw, I guess when the saw was getting low on power, they noticed it. They went ahead and changed out the air filter, because this is literally a brand new OEM flock fleece filter, but too late. The damage was done by the time they noticed the saw was losing power. That's usually what people do. They swap out air filters and spark plug and fuel filter and all that, but this saw has a brand new fuel line in it and a new filter, so that's what they did. They tried to do a servicing after the fact, after it was damaged. So, but anyways, here we go. One saw basically all reassembled. Just now I'm not going to start it here on this video here, just because I'm going to let my sealer, it needs to, I'm going to leave that sit for a day or two so it sets and dries up well, and then the next video we're going to see if I can get this saw started. I went ahead also here off camera there before and pulled the the covers off the carb there and checked my diaphragms, and somebody had put a carb kit in it too. So like I say, I guess that, oh yeah, I better remember to hook up my fuel line here. That, like I say, kind of all goes along here with what people usually do once, like I say, they start having problems with saws. They try to, well, service their way out of a bigger issue, which usually doesn't work. So it's okay for me. Saves me the cost of buying service and repair parts. So it's already been done. Just have to double check, make sure that it's basically got a brand new spark plug, brand new gas line, brand new gas filter, brand new air filter, and a new carb kit. So I should have had a new piston ring to put in it. Would have been a good idea, but like I say, the ring wasn't damaged otherwise, and it still has good tension. And like I say, you're just rolling it over here with a little bit of oil in it. Yes, I know there's oil in the cylinder that'll always boost compression, but once you run a good mix through it, like I always run 40 to 1 in my saws. I do not run 50 to 1. I ran 45 to 1 for many years without issue, but I've now reverted back to 40 to 1. That's what I used to run years ago, and I'm now back to running 40 to 1. It's just that little bit of extra insurance of having that oil in your cylinder, and also addressing these little stop keepers there on those limiters on your carb jets, your high and low jets there. If you run in the factory settings, like I say, at only half a turn out, which is to meet emission standards, sooner or later your saw is probably going to eat it, especially if you get a hot day where you're running hard. If you're doing a lot of large bucking, you're going to get in trouble. So, but otherwise, this saw is another one of those nice clean little saws. I'm glad to have gotten my hands on it. One more for the collection that kind of rounds out my collection now for the Husqvarna side. I'm missing one saw on the Johnsonred side, and that's a 2163. Had missed a couple opportunities on those, but like everything, you can't afford to buy everything. So this is what I do: bring home saws that are hurt and damaged, and well, just sometimes just needing a whole lot of service and maintenance. This saw, when I took the top cover off, it was literally almost full, packed with dirt and sawdust under here. Like I say, apparently the first owner took very good care of it. The second owner didn't give a crap about it. It was just a tool to be used and abused more than it was ever used. So, but anyways, that's how it goes. And you buy these project saws, you can run into anything you don't know. But I already knew with this one, it already had a hurt piston in the top end. Apparently, I was already told was not in the greatest shape, so expect to have to do a top end. So if I couldn't have salvaged the cylinder, I would have just gone the route of putting a 365 top end on it. But I do want to keep this as an original 362 47mm top end, just for comparison, just to see how it runs compared to the 365 and the 372. These are, even though they are smaller bore, they're set down to 62 cc's. I guess it was done as a marketing to fill a marketing gap in the saws that they had at the time. They had the 357s and the XPs, but those were only 56 point some odd cc or 57 cc, and Husqvarna wanted to have, I guess, a 61 or 62 cc saw to compete with the still 361s and 036s and MS360s, which were 62 cc saws. So. But anyways, they didn't technically have a saw in the 60cc class at that time, so this was their stopgap measure to fill that void in their marketing. But anyways, enough blabbering about saw trivia. I'm getting long-winded here again, like I always do, because, well, saws are my passion. I like playing with them, like working on them, and yes, I do like getting out and cutting wood with them, as obvious by a lot of the videos I've been posting lately on logging. So. And there'll be plenty more again coming up later in the season, as there always is, about firewood cutting and all that good stuff. So, anyways, just like to say thanks everybody for stopping by and checking out another one of my videos as usual. If you're new here, I welcome you. If you're a return viewer, thank you for coming back and checking out another one of my videos. You know the old YouTube routine. Don't forget the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if you don't mind. It's greatly appreciated. Anyways, thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you all in the next one.